Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rslash Nuclear Revenge. In today's episode, they kicked my friend's mom out, so we trashed their store and got it shut down. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. They kicked my friend's mom out, so we trashed their store and got it shut down. Okay, I realize this may sound terrible, but you have to read through the whole story. This happened about 15 years ago when I was living overseas. Now I'm in the US. Let's just say I used to live in a developing country back at the time. Me and my friend, let's call him Han, were driving around the city one night when he got a phone call from his older brother, let's call him Barry. The phone call, from what I was able to comprehend, was pretty intense. After Han hung up, he was pretty frustrated. He told me to drive over to the supermarket near his parents' house. I did. I asked Han what was wrong. He said it looks like Barry has gotten into a fight and that he needs our help. I told them let's go see what's going on. On our way to that supermarket, Han called a couple of our friends and told them to meet us there for extra support. I know how this may sound. It sounds like we're a bunch of gangbangers looking to go start some sh*t, so before y'all start jumping into conclusions, let me give you some background. The community I used to live in is heavily tribal. It's not about ganging up, but more like standing up and being there for a friend in need. That's the common mindset, and that's their way of life. It's pretty backwards at this day and age, and it's worth pointing out that I'm completely against that mindset now, especially that I'm living in the US. But anyway, we eventually arrived at that supermarket. It was in a very busy and vibrant area with lots of traffic. We parked our cars at the front door and stood out in the street waiting for Barry until he showed up. He was enraged, but yet calm and on point. We asked him what was going on, so he went on explaining. Apparently, Barry and Han's mom went into the supermarket to buy some chicken. She did manage to buy some chicken in a sealed container. She needed it to cook for the day, but when she got home and opened that container, the chicken smelled absolutely rotten and disgusting. Understandably, she decided to go back to the store and return that chicken, notify the store management, and get another chicken that isn't salmonella in a box, since she shops there quite often. I know my friend's mom. She's not a Karen in any way, and she's this super sweet lady in her 60s who is very friendly with everyone she meets. When she went into the store, found the store manager, told him about the rotten chicken, and asked him, politely, to give her a different one. She was even discreet about it and didn't want other customers to hear. The manager was super rude and refused to acknowledge that there's anything wrong with the chicken outright, refused to exchange the chicken, and wouldn't even smell or look at it. He called her a liar and told her to get the hell out of his store. Han, having learned that his mom was insulted that way, was pretty furious. Barry told us that he was going inside to talk to that manager and give him a piece of his mind, and that he wanted us to be there on standby in case things go down. We agreed and waited outside. Barry went in. We were looking at him through the glass door. We saw him speak to that manager with a clear understanding of how heated the conversation was getting. Basically, Barry asked the manager if he's the one who told his mom to get the hell out, and the manager says yes, and you get out too, and shoves him away. Now a little background on Barry. He was feared. He's always been kind of problematic since he was little. He was never a bully, but he just never took sh*t from anybody, ever. Now, while I didn't agree with the way he handled things, I've always respected how he stands up for himself and for the people he cares about. It's worth mentioning that he's a lot more calm now. Within seconds of him going into the store, and after hearing how belligerent that manager was, Barry lost control over his rage, and we saw him start throwing punches at that manager. Other employees joined in on the fight too, and hell broke loose. Me, Han, and another friend of ours immediately jumped into the store. We started to trade punches with whoever was fighting. It was an utter cluster. All I remember was that I punched the manager a few times, and then I was on the ground. I didn't get punched or anything and still have no idea how I ended up on the ground. Luckily, no one got, really, injured from either side, but we had a clear advantage over them. The aftermath was horrific. Glass was broken, shelves were knocked down and product stands were destroyed. I still remember M&Ms scattered all over the floor. It was a hot mess. At that time, we knew we were absolutely F***ed. We pretty much vandalized a whole store and physically assaulted its staff. Eventually we left and stood in front of the store and started cussing them out. They stayed inside the store because they knew that the law would be on their side while they're on their property. So, about the laws in that country, they make absolutely no sense whatsoever. A good example of its ridiculous laws is: if you get physically assaulted by someone, and you decide you want to press charges, and you do just that, you will need to go get a doctor's note stating your injury, and then head to a police station and press charges. The person who assaulted you will get a phone call from the police telling them to come to the police station. That person can also press charges the same way even if they're not at all injured. If both parties have pressed charges, both parties will go to jail awaiting trial, unless bailed out. It's also worth mentioning that obtaining a forged doctor's note in that country is easier than buying a tub of sour cream. Fact. That said, we knew that we better hurry up and press charges. We got to the police station before the supermarket staff and filed a complaint against them. They eventually arrived like 15 minutes later to do the same thing. It was the whole manager and another guy that was in the fight too. At the police station, it was a shock to me how nicely we were being treated by officers, and how *TTY they treated the supermarket staff. Like, what is going on? Shouldn't we be in handcuffs right now? What I didn't know was this: while we standing outdoor cussing those guys out after the fight, Barry disappeared. He did meet us at the police station, but we didn't know what he was doing after the fight was over. Well, it turns out that while Barry was exiting the store after the fight, he started yelling, "My name is Barry, last name, and I'm not done." Apparently, a passing-by police patrol heard Barry yell at the top of his lungs and stopped to see what was going on. Out of sheer coincidence, one of the patrolling officers turned out to be a distant cousin of Barry. It's a small country, and he recognized his name while he was shouting it. He took Barry aside for a word and started asking him what was going on. Barry explained the entire story of how they insulted his mom after selling her bad chicken and refusing to admit any wrongdoing. The officer also turned out to be an on-duty health and safety inspector. He then took it personal and assured Barry that he'll take care of it. Anyway, back to the police station. Now that both parties have pressed charges, the police were clearly favoring us. They threw the supermarket staff in a cell while we were sitting on the couch sipping coffee. LOL. Barry was still cussing the manager out. Eventually, we reached an agreement to drop all charges, and we all went our way. Now, the real revenge. After the store was picked up and everything went back to normal, Barry's officer cousin went to the supermarket on an inspection the next day. Do you see where this is going? Yep, he found tons and tons of badly stored meat of all kinds that was completely inedible, and could potentially be life-threatening. He also found spoiled dairy and a buttload of expired items. Apparently, the owner orders the staff to unplug the fridges and freezers at night to save on electricity. The owner was knowingly selling rotten meat to save a few bucks. The store was immediately shut down pending investigation. The health ministry got involved and fined the supermarket, and the fine was just so huge that store stayed shut down and never opened again because the owners weren't able to financially recover. I mean, I understand some people switching off the coolers in which drinks, soda, are stored. But food stuff? That's a big no-no. The guy who used to run the small shop over the road from me used to turn his fridges off overnight. I quickly learned not to buy milk from him. Yeah, I went to a store on E and the cooler for the eggs broke, and it was room temp. I never seen the store employees react so fast. It was delightful. Whatever you did wrong, the fact remains that you saved the community from some serious sh*t. Those store owners could have killed someone with that rotten food. Honestly, at that point someone probably already got really sick or died, but it likely has been contributed to other causes. So all they did was save more lives and prevent any more deaths or disease outbreaks given how long the store had been doing that. Chaotic good? Well done. Food poisoning is not a joke to elderly or to pregnant women or children. Happy Cake Day. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.